Hey, good morning. It's coffee chat time with Jane and
Heather.
yay.
Okay, we have to do.
You always go the wrong way. And we're gonna say Happy Mother's Day because we decided to celebrate mothers today, right?
Exactly.
I know. And grandmas, mothers,
Mhm.
grandmothers. Yeah. So I actually had we thought it'd be just fun to kind of celebrate our moms, share a couple stories that really stand out for us. And yeah, and so it's really about the power of love and how strong that mother love is.
The
You know,
bond.
the bond. It's incredible. And so I feel it as a grandma too. Like I don't think I realized that. Like when my daughter gave birth and had Maurice, I wasn't really excited to be a grandma, but I didn't think I would feel that same. It's an inner connection that you can't see.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. And
yeah,
it just it yeah, it overwhelms me at times and I think how is it possible that
I
I
know,
could feel that much love
I
again,
know.
like because
Yeah,
the empty nester thing that like did me in pretty much. That's a whole other conversation. So
true.
today, yes, and yeah, and so I've got the three grandchildren and one more coming.
What? You do? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't say anything. Okay. No.
Don't say it.
Okay. No, no. Anyways,
It's only live on Facebook.
I know. Okay.
Really? Well, congratulations. When's the due date?
End of November-ish.
Oh my God, so excited.
I know.
Okay, coffee chair. Coffee
Okay.
chair.
Yay! I know. Probably shouldn't have said anything. Probably gonna be in trouble now. Oh, but I'm so excited.
Oh God, I'd be so excited too.
What
Okay.
better day? So lots to think about for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was hard for me to like just pick like some kind of memory because my mom's been like my best friend for like almost 60
I
years.
know. Heather and we thought we'd pick one, at least one good memory that really
Yeah.
stands out when you're little. Because sometimes it's interesting, but the memories when we're really young, they don't retain as well in the early, like 3, 4, 5, 6, those young years. But what's interesting is when you realize that memories are the clear memories in your life are attached to a very strong emotion. You can go back in your life, like your wedding day, the day you gave birth, or whether it's something that was difficult that had emotion or really loving, or you remember it clearly. So it's interesting. So what is your story? One, you pick one from your childhood that you can.
Um, well, when I was about 10 or 11, we were living in outside Syracuse, New York, in a little town called Liverpool. And my mom and I decided that we would go on a road trip. And I don't even know if they called it road trips back then. We'd never done anything like that. And so we had this old kind of beat up car, and she was nervous to drive. So we didn't want to drive on the interstate. So we took these back roads and we went to a small town in Pennsylvania called Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, the place where the chocolate comes from.
Okay, cool.
We went on a road trip and we spent a night in a hotel, and it was like so amazing. Like, just
Just
being,
you and her.
yeah, just her because I was 3 when my second little brother came along. So I didn't get my mom to myself very much because
Oh,
I
okay.
would always, they made jokes. Heather's the little mother. Like, no wonder
Yeah.
I mother you. If I mother you, it comes from somewhere. Okay. What about
Okay.
you? What about
Yeah.
you?
So I had this really clear memory, and I was in grade 3, and my mom's an artist. She's a really incredible artist. And when I was in grade 3, she agreed to come to the school, to the classroom. I remember it. I can picture everything. I just can picture the whole thing. And it's because I felt so unbelievably proud. So I was 8, and she taught the class decoupage. I don't know if you know what
Oh,
decoupage is, but it's yeah. So you get a piece of wood and you sand the edges, and then you get a piece of paper, a picture of something. And she picked these old pictures of Indians with the tribe, like their what do you call, their not hats,
like the
headdresses.
head.
These
Yeah.
old pictures, and then you burn the edge of the paper and glue them on, and then you shellac the whole thing, and they're beautiful. And I remember her coming, and all my friends, I just remember them all just loving this project we did. And to me, she was just like, oh, like I idolized her in that moment. I've never forgotten it. And I think I don't think moms even realize how important those moments when you go to the school or where your children might remember them forever. Right?
That's true. Yeah, because when my kids were little, I was the hot lunch lady. And so I was always able to be at the school. I know it is really, really, it's important to the kids. That's a great story. Decoupage. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. And so what's interesting is I decided to do just a teeny bit of research because I was like, this is super interesting, the power of the mother's love. And I looked into what in nature makes that bond so strong. And it said that, when I looked into it, said that babies secrete pheromones. So the chemicals that we secrete to attract a partner, like that love.
Yeah.
And so babies actually secrete it, and it's to ensure in nature that we are smitten with them. That's why in nature they produce.
Plus we can smell our own babies too.
Oh yeah, and it said a study showed when new moms spend 1 hour with their brand new baby, and then they take them away, they can identify them with smell alone. They can put a lineup of babies and
but
just.
Don't you love that newborn baby smell?
Yeah, because it's like
babies smell good. That's so cool.
Yeah, but that's what they're admitting for. So in nature, you're in love, and you do feel like you're in love with them. And it says the other thing is when you nurse your baby or gaze into their eyes, because if a mother doesn't nurse, it's still when you gaze into their eyes when you're feeding them, a hormone, that oxytocin is released in the brain. So for us, when we get that feeling, it's the same effect as what morphine would feel like. Like you get this high.
Those are your endogenous, like morphine, those feel good hormones.
Yeah.
Oxytocin is like it's like in love.
Right. So it releases, we get that release in our brain when it says they call it the reward cycle, reward center. It eases your pain. Yeah. And it makes us feel good, and it said causes us to crave that emotion again and again. And I think that's why I just want to get around my grandchildren and the grandbaby. You're just like because you want that feeling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so what about a memory for yourself as a mom? You have 3? How many kids? I can't remember.
3.
Okay.
So that was another toughie. I was like, because I was just so. Well, I wrote to my daughter. Well, my daughter wrote me this morning a little text, like at 6 o'clock this morning, to say Happy Mother's Day, and I was just like, oh, and I was just like, thank you for choosing me to be your mother. Like I was just like, it's such an honor.
Yeah,
it's an honor to be someone's mother. And so there's so many things, and I thought about like what are the moments that stand out, and there's many, but with Tyler, so he was speech delayed, and they didn't understand anything about that back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it was like New Year's Eve, and he was like 3 3/4. And I was like, please, 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 can you just say mommy? Because I was waiting. I waited many years, right? We talked about before about my oldest daughter. And so with Tyler, I was waiting. I just wanted to be called mommy. Yeah. And so he finally said it. And it was New Year's Eve. And it was like, so like, it just fills my heart so much that he.
Okay, well, let's share. I think for people that are watching it, that Heather gave up her firstborn for adoption because you were young and your daughter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So I missed out on a lot of those things. So yeah, just having Tyler be able to call me mom. Now, interestingly, that lasted about a month until he started calling me Heather.
Oh, yeah, the kids do that. I know.
And so I was like, oh, and then I was like, well, but we were in a grocery store one day and he snuck off. And then I don't hear coming from the other aisle, mommy, I hear Heather, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. And then at the time, I then got pregnant with Dominique. And so I said to him, like, you need to call me mommy because this is going to get way too confusing.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
what about you? What about you with your daughter?
Oh yeah, I'll share one. I'll share a story that's cute. But I do just want to acknowledge you and giving up your daughter for adoption because I think that's part of that connection we have forever. Like when you give birth, you have this child, you are connected forever, and she has a really good life because of you. And so that I think that is huge on being a mom. Like when you're at the stage in your life you can't give her the good life. That is so there's so much love in that. And I can't imagine the pain of that. But I'm so glad that you talk to her and you've got a relationship with her now.
Yeah, it's great. And interestingly enough, when I met her parents, it was on a Mother's Day weekend that I'd flown down to Victoria to be with my mom for Mother's Day, which was very rare that we ever did that. And we were all able to get together, and I was able to meet her parents and her grandparents, and she was able to meet, and they were all able to meet my mom and brother too. So
you met her when
a huge Mother's Day it's a big weekend.
Yeah. How old was she? What's her name?
Her name's Diane.
Diane. How old was she when you met her?
She was 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah, because when adoption records in British Columbia, when they say, or they only open when the child is 19, because the child is able to is an adult and able to make decisions about whether or not they wish contact. So,
right.
Anyways, so but I want to hear about one of your.
Well, I had a couple stories. I'd pick one. When the girls were little, my husband traveled a lot, but when the girls were little, I think they were 5 and 7, we had their Halloween costumes, and Amber was going to be Barbie, and Jenny was going to be Belle, like the princesses, right? And it was just such a cute moment. I'll never forget it. And we didn't have family there in Edmonton. It was just Ed and the girls. And so I said to Ed, I'm going to get them to dress up. He didn't know about this. I said to the girls, let's surprise Daddy with special guests, Barbie and Belle, for Thanksgiving dinner. So I said, go put on your dresses. Daddy doesn't know. He just knows that there's special guests coming for dinner. So we set the table, and I kept saying, there's special guests coming for dinner, Ed. And he's like, who? And I said, I don't know. It's a surprise. We have these special guests. And we put out the fine china and all the good cutlery. And Amber and Jenny were so excited. I said, sneak into your bedroom so he doesn't see you. You're going to put on the dresses, and you're going to go around to the front door and ring the doorbell. So Ed said, oh, who's coming? And he went and put on a suit, and I put on a dress. And Ed played the part like he had no idea who these special guests were. So the girls, right before they went outside to go around the front, they looked at me and they got nervous. And they said, what if he's disappointed? Like, what if he's disappointed that's just us? I said, he won't be disappointed. It's Belle and Barbie coming for dinner. So they got all excited. They're that imaginatory age when they're, So they're at the front door. And my husband's amazing. And the doorbell rang and he played the part. He was just like, Barbie and Belle, and our whole dinner was magical because we pretended they were these princesses at our table, and I've just never forgotten it. I loved it. Yeah, so
that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. But the other thing I think is moments that are more heart wrenching, like our daughter Jenny when she went to school in Australia. To leave her there, I can still feel the pain inside me. Saying goodbye when we had to go back on the plane and she was with her new roommate. I still feel that pain. And she's now been in Australia for 7 years. She's created a life there. And I don't get to see her very often. And we talk, maybe once a week. We talked last night. But I feel forever connected with her on this deep, it's just it's invisible. It's a connection that is, it's beyond physical because I feel it all the time. I don't, right? And that's part of the mother love. It's deeper than.
The Chinese have an interesting concept or saying that we're connected by these invisible threads.
Yeah.
And it's really,
Yeah. I know. So
I start crying. Anyways. Oh,
yeah.
I got another one. I got a cute story.
All right.
I think it's cute. So Dominique, my little one, she had gone to live with her aunt in Calgary when she was about 13, and that was really hard for me. She lived there from February to July of one year, and I missed her like crazy, and she was getting ready to come home, but to Kelowna. And before she did that, I decided we're going to go on a little trip. So we went on a trip to North Bay, Ontario, where I had lived as a young girl because my brother lived there. And we got her, and I put her in a volleyball camp because she was really into volleyball then. So it was like a big deal, got to see some family. But when we landed in Toronto, we had a big surprise for her. We took her to Woodbine Racetrack. So she got to remember, she's like 12, 13 years old. She loves horses. It's like been her life for like 5 years. So we went to Woodbine Racetrack, and there was all of these amazing, like, big pictures of all the Triple Crown winners, right? Because she just loved racehorses.
Yeah.
And when she was little, like maybe she started when she was about 8 or 9, she would call me Sir Barton. And I was like, who the heck? And Sir Barton was a famous, racehorse. Okay. So when we got to Woodbine, we went and we found this big picture of Sir Barton. So we had to have a picture of Money with Sir Barton.
Oh, that's cute.
It's just like I know it probably is like, doesn't mean anything to anybody, but to me, it was huge because, it was something that we did together. And and plus I was happy because I was bringing her back to Kelowna with me.
Yeah. Aw.
So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, if any moms are watching and you want to pop a picture of you and your kids in the comments, feel free. I did this for my mom this morning. We'll sign off pretty soon. So I did this for my mom this morning. You see? I posted on Facebook. So that's her journey as a mom. So this is with me.
Yeah.
And then with Amber, her first grandchild. And then Jenny, second, like not first grandchild, but from me. Yeah. Oh yeah, first grandchild. And then great grandchild, Maurice, and then Kyla. Look at the journey of my mom as a woman.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing, Jane. I love that. Oh,
yeah.
Heather
and I can talk all day, so we'll say Happy Mother's Day to everybody. We wish you all a beautiful day.
And to those of you who are missing your mom today, she's in your heart. If she's not with you, she's in your heart.
It's that same connection that you feel when they're not. It's the same. Yeah, if they're not with you, they're still connected to you. Your moms are still connected to you, for sure. Thank you, Heather. That's beautiful.
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Bye.